My hand shook as I signed the severance agreement. Not from nerves, from pure rage I was trying to keep bottled up. 12 years, 75-hour weeks, weekends, holidays, my marriage, my kid's high school graduation, all of it reduced to 8 pages of legal paperwork and Logan Merritt sitting across from me in his designer office chair, not even bothering to look up from his laptop. His fingers kept typing like I wasn't even there. "Don't worry," he said without looking up. "Nobody will remember your contributions anyway." That comment just sat there between us. Heavy. Cold. I'm Russell Whitaker, 48 years old. Until 3 minutes ago, I was the principal software architect at Quantum Shift, the guy who built the authentication system that made this company worth $25 million to investors, the guy who just got shown the door. "I appreciate the opportunity," I said, standing up. My voice came out level. "Professional. That's always been my problem. Too damn professional for my own good." Logan still didn't look up. His perfectly styled hair caught the San Diego sunlight coming through those floor-to-ceiling windows they'd installed after Series B funding. $25 million to scale the company I'd helped build from nothing. From a converted airplane hangar with no air conditioning to this sleek office space downtown. The air in his office smelled like expensive coffee and leather furniture. My jaw was clenched so tight it hurt. I walked through the open floor plan one last time, past rows of engineers typing away at code I'd written. Some of them were working with my authentication system right now, not even knowing this was my last day. Aaron Wilson, one of the junior guys I'd spent months mentoring, looked up from his monitor. "Heading out early, Russ?" "Something like that," I said. I packed up fast. My vintage mechanical keyboard, the one I'd bought back in March 2015 when we first got venture funding. A framed photo of my son Andrew at his high school graduation, the one I'd missed because Logan needed me at a product launch in Seattle. That was basically it. 12 years, and my entire presence fit into one canvas tote bag. Standing there waiting for the elevator, something clicked. Logan's comment about nobody remembering my contributions wasn't just mean, it was factually wrong. Every single line of that authentication system had my fingerprints on it. The documentation was written in my own shorthand, designed for my understanding with notes and references that made sense to exactly one person, me. I'd never gotten around to creating that comprehensive guide everyone kept asking for. Always too busy, always something more urgent. The elevator doors slid open. I stepped inside. As they closed, I caught one last glimpse of the office. They had no idea what they'd just done. I wasn't angry yet, not the hot kind of angry, but I was suddenly very aware of my value and of exactly where I'd stored every original architecture draft, every version log, every email with my name on it. See, I grew up watching my father get screwed. He designed this revolutionary battery system back in the 90s. When his company went public, they pushed him out and wiped his name from every press release, every patent filing, like he'd never existed. I promised myself that would never happen to me. But here I was, walking out with nothing but a severance check, 8 months' salary, less than standard, but I didn't argue, and a non-disclosure agreement I'd read very carefully before signing. The NDA covered company secrets, trade secrets, confidential information, standard stuff. It didn't say anything about my personal documentation process. Nothing about files I'd sent to my attorney 3 weeks ago when I first started sensing this was coming. When Logan started having those closed-door meetings with Troy, the new senior consultant they'd brought in. When I stopped getting invited to investor calls. I'm not paranoid, I just pay attention. Driving home, I called Neil Patterson. We'd been friends since college. He'd gone into intellectual property law after getting burned by his own employer back in the day. "They let me go," I said. "Okay." Neil's voice stayed calm. "What's the severance look like?" 8 months salary, standard NDA. Nothing specific about intellectual property beyond what was in my original employment contract. Good. "The files you sent over look solid. We should meet tomorrow." "Yeah." I hung up and just drove. Took the long way along the coast, windows down, trying to process everything. That night, I did something I hadn't done in months. I called my son. Andrew was 19, halfway through sophomore year at UC Berkeley. We hadn't been close since the divorce. Hard to stay close when you're never around. "Hey, Dad," he answered, surprised. "Everything okay?" "I got fired today." Silence. Then, "Oh, wow. Sorry?" Don't be. I'm not sure I am. More silence. Then, so you'll actually have time now. That hurt more than getting fired. My kid was 19 years old and his first reaction was relief that I might finally be available. Yeah, I said quietly. I'll have time. Your mom was right about the company, wasn't she? She usually is. He paused. So what are you going to do? Honestly, not sure yet. But Andrew, I built something that really mattered there. I just need to make sure people know it. Okay. Well, keep me posted, I guess. I will. And Andrew, I'm sorry for missing your graduation, your birthday, all of it. Yeah. Thanks. We hung up. Not the greatest conversation, but whatever. It was something. The next morning, I slept until 9. Made actual breakfast, eggs, toast, coffee I took time to enjoy. Then I drove to Neil's office. Neil had spread my files across his conference table. Architecture diagrams, version control logs, emails. Most importantly, proof that I'd created the core authentication system as a personal project before joining Quantum Shift. The GitHub repository showed my first commit dated March 15, 2011. My official start date at Quantum Shift was May 1st, 2013. 14 months of prior work, all documented and time-stamped. You've been meticulous, Neil said, tapping one of the printed emails. My father taught me to keep receipts. I sat down. He didn't, and they erased him. So what do you want to do with all this? I looked at the evidence. 12 years of my life, documented and dated. Nothing yet. But I want to be ready when they come looking. They will, Neil said. Once they realize what they've lost. I left Neil's office and spent the rest of that first week doing normal people stuff. Fixed the leaky faucet in my bathroom, went to the hardware store, cooked actual meals instead of ordering takeout at my desk at midnight, started running in the mornings again, something I hadn't done since my 30s. The weird thing about suddenly having time, you don't know what to do with it at first. Week 2, I started monitoring Quantum Shift's public presence. Their Twitter support account became my morning entertainment with coffee. Nothing dramatic yet, just the usual customer complaints. Then week 3 hit. I was sitting at a beachside cafe on a Tuesday afternoon when my phone rang. Joseph Bryant, Quantum Shift's CTO, the guy I'd worked alongside for 8 years. Russell, he said, way too friendly. How have you been? Fine, Joseph. What can I do for you? Well, the team's hitting some snags with the authentication system. Just minor stuff, but they had questions about your architecture decisions. Thought you might have time for a quick consultation. I took a slow sip of my overpriced latte. Consultation. Interesting word. I'm not sure that'd be appropriate, given how things ended. Joseph cleared his throat. Look, we're willing to compensate you. Generously. He paused. Russell, Logan may have been too hasty. Something in his voice. Guilt, maybe. Or just desperation. I'm pretty busy at the moment, I said. Besides, Troy's the experienced one, right? I'm sure he can figure it out. Russell. Good luck with everything, Joseph. I ended the call. My phone buzzed immediately. Text from Joseph. Name your rate. We need your help. Another buzz. 5,000 an hour. Please. I set the phone down without replying. Let them sweat. That evening, email from Aaron Wilson. Subject line, you won't believe this. Aaron had always been solid. I'd spent probably 100 hours mentoring him. His email was short. Russell, it's a disaster here. Troy pushed a minor update last Tuesday. Everything broke. 3 major clients, DataCorp, Tech Solutions, and Meridian Systems, all reported critical issues. That's 3 of our top 10 accounts. The dashboard's been down more than it's been up. Logan's blaming the engineering team, but everyone knows we can't understand your documentation. Joseph is in full panic mode. Stock's down 28% since you left, 12% just this week. Just thought you should know. We all miss you. I sat at my kitchen counter reading that 3 times. I hadn't expected things to fall apart this fast. Part of me felt bad for the team. Most of them were good people stuck in a bad situation. But another part of me felt something else. Something I'm not particularly proud of. But there it was. Satisfaction. My phone rang. Neil. Just got a very interesting call from Quantum Shift's legal department, he said. They want to discuss a consulting arrangement. Sounds urgent. Already? Apparently they're having significant technical difficulties. His tone was carefully neutral. What do you think? I think we let them sweat longer. The more desperate they get, the better our position. Agreed. I'll tell them you're considering your options. Week 3, on a Wednesday afternoon, Andrew called. You sound different, he said. Different how? I don't know. Less stressed, I guess. Unemployment suits me. He laughed. Don't get too comfortable. Mom says you're plotting something. Smart woman, my ex-wife. Just taking some time to figure things out, I said. Sure, Dad. Whatever you say. The next few days, I had coffee with Mike Bradford, former quantum shift engineer who'd left 2 years ago for Google. We met at this place on Market Street. The coffee was too hot and the chairs were uncomfortable, but Mike had information. Heard what happened, Mike said. That's some bullshit. Yeah, they're screwed without you. He leaned forward. I talked to Aaron yesterday. He said Troy spent 40 hours trying to debug one module you wrote in an afternoon. Troy's a good engineer, sure, but he's not you. And that documentation system you used, Mike laughed, genius and diabolical at the same time. Nobody else can read it. It made sense to me. That's the point, isn't it? Mike leaned back. You know what kills me? Logan's been walking around acting like he built it all himself. I saw the Series B deck before I left. Your name wasn't on a single slide. I noticed. So what's your play here? I shrugged. Wait and see what happens. Bullshit. You've got something planned. I know that look. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. By the end of week 4, I'd made monitoring Quantum Shift's collapse into a daily routine. Their Twitter support account was working overtime. Monday, experiencing authentication, timeout errors, team is investigating. Tuesday, dashboard access issues continuing. We apologize for the inconvenience. Wednesday, some VP at DataCorp posted publicly, seriously considering alternatives to at Quantum Shift. 3 outages in 1 week is unacceptable. I screenshotted that one. The calls got desperate. Joseph again. Troy, trying to sound casual while clearly panicking. Even Aaron sent an unofficial text. Dude, they're losing it. Any chance you'd consider coming back? I kept responses vague when I bothered to respond. Busy with some things. I'll think about it. Not sure that's the right move. That Thursday night, week 4, I went out to my garage. The concrete floor was cold under my feet. Dust everywhere. Started going through boxes I'd been avoiding for years. Found my father's old engineering notebook near the bottom. The leather cover was cracked, pages yellow. I opened it carefully. The binding was falling apart. Flipped through pages of calculations and diagrams from the battery system that was supposed to change everything. The last page had a note in his shaky handwriting, dated about a month before he died. Always sign your work twice, once in code, once in writing. I only did one. That's why they could erase me. I closed the notebook, sat there on an old paint bucket in the cold garage for a while. Not me, Dad, I said to the empty space. I did both. 5 weeks after they'd let me go, my doorbell rang. Wasn't expecting anyone. Opened the door to find Olivia Harris standing there. Lead investor from Threshold Ventures. Mr. Whitaker, she said. I apologize for showing up unannounced, but this couldn't wait. May I come in? I stepped aside and let Olivia in. She walked into my living room, glanced around briefly, then sat down on my couch like she'd done this before. Her expression was serious. Tense, even. I'll be direct, she said. Quantum Shift is in serious trouble, and I think you know exactly why. I've heard there are some technical issues. Olivia gave me a look. Sharp. The authentication system is failing. Nobody can fix it. Logan assured us they had redundancies for key personnel departures. That was a lie. I stayed quiet. Waited. What's more concerning, she continued, is we've discovered major discrepancies in what we were told about the company's technical leadership. She paused. Logan presented himself as the architectural visionary. He told us you just implemented his ideas. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Bitter, but genuine. Is that what he told you? It is. Last week we brought in external technical advisors, former CTOs from Oracle and Salesforce. They spent 3 days reviewing your architecture documentation and comparing it to what Logan told us during funding rounds. She looked me straight in the eye. The discrepancies were obvious. You were the actual architect. Logan misrepresented your role to secure our $25 million. I'm disappointed, but I can't say I'm surprised. Neither am I, at this point. Olivia leaned forward. Threshold invested $25 million based partly on false information. The board called an emergency meeting for tomorrow morning at 10. Logan doesn't know I'm here, but I think you need to be at that meeting. This I hadn't expected. Legal negotiations through Neil, sure. But a direct board invitation? What exactly are you proposing? Just tell the truth. Help us understand what we're actually dealing with. In return, I promise your contributions will be properly acknowledged and compensated. I thought about that for a moment. My attorney advised me not to engage directly with Quantum Shift without legal protection. Olivia nodded. Bring your attorney. This isn't some shady deal, it's about transparency. We need to know what's really happening with our investment. The offer was risky, but also a chance to address the people who actually had power to change things. I need to talk to my attorney first, I said. Of course. Meeting's at 10 tomorrow morning. I hope you'll be there. After she left, I called Neil immediately. Interesting development, he said when I explained. Earlier than expected, but potentially very good for us. If you attend, you'll be speaking from strength, not desperation. What about our notification plan? Send it tonight, before the meeting. That way they'll know your legal position when you walk in tomorrow. Do it. Already drafting it. That night, I barely slept. Kept going over everything. Tomorrow would be a confrontation I hadn't asked for, but I was ready. Logan had tried to write me out of Quantum Shift's story. Tomorrow, I'd write myself back in. The Quantum Shift offices looked exactly the same when I walked in the next morning with Neil beside me, but everything felt different. The receptionist's eyes went wide when she saw me. People stared as we walked through. Whispers followed us down the hallway. The main conference room was packed. Board members around the long table, Olivia Harris, Howard Lee from Magnitude Capital, two others I recognized from investor presentations. The executive team sat along the side, Logan at the head of the table, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 5 weeks. Joseph next to him, dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't slept properly in weeks. Troy sat in the corner, looking uncomfortable. He'd tried his best, but even he knew he was in over his head. The conference room smelled like stale coffee and expensive cologne. Logan's cologne, probably. Mr. Whitaker, thank you for joining us, Olivia said, standing, and Mr. Patterson. We're here in good faith, Neil said, setting his briefcase on the table with a solid thunk. But I should mention we delivered a formal notification of retained intellectual property rights to your legal team last night at 9 p.m. Logan's face went red. This is ridiculous. You signed an employment contract. All work product belongs to the company. I know what I signed, I said calmly, but the core authentication system was developed before my employment began. I have proof. I pulled out my laptop, connected it to the conference room display. Mind if I share some evidence? Olivia nodded. I brought up the GitHub repository. Commit history clearly dated. Repository first commit, March 15th, 2011. My official start date at Quantum Shift, May 1st, 2013. 14 months of prior development. Then I pulled up emails between Logan and me from my first month at the company. In one, dated May 10th, 2013, I explicitly mentioned bringing my authentication system to the project. Logan's response, sounds interesting. We'll figure out the details later. You'll notice, Neil said, that Mr. Merritt acknowledged Russell's prior work in writing but never formalized any intellectual property transfer beyond the standard employment agreement, which specifically excludes pre-existing work that employees bring with them. Silence in the room, board members looking at each other, then at Logan. Howard Lee's pen had stopped tapping. There's more, I said, pulled up slides from the Series B investor presentations. These were shown during your funding rounds. The authentication system is highlighted as a key competitive advantage and primary differentiator. My name doesn't appear anywhere in the technical credits or architecture acknowledgments. Howard Lee took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes. Logan, you told us you personally designed these systems, that you were the technical visionary. I supervise development, Logan said. His voice had an edge to it. Supervision isn't creation, I replied. Your supervision mostly consisted of impossible deadlines and taking credit for the results in investor meetings. Joseph cleared his throat. Everyone looked at him. His hands were shaking slightly. I can confirm Russell was the principal architect, Joseph said quietly. The authentication system, the data pipeline architecture, the encryption protocols, all Russell. Without him, we can't maintain any of it properly. The last 5 weeks proved that clearly. Logan shot Joseph a look that could have cut glass. But the damage was done. "Mr. Whitaker," one of the other board members said, "what exactly do you want here?" Neil spoke up. "My client isn't trying to destroy Quantum Shift. He believes in the product he helped build, but he needs proper recognition, fair compensation for his intellectual property, and guarantees this won't happen again." "And if we don't agree?" Logan challenged. "Then the notification stands," Neil said coolly. "Quantum Shift will be legally prevented from using the authentication system. Your product becomes non-functional. You could feel it hit everyone at once. $25 million. The whole business model, hanging in the balance." And I held the key. The board called for a 15-minute recess. Everyone filed out except Logan, Joseph, and Troy. Logan sat there staring at the table, jaw clenched, wouldn't look at me. Neil and I waited in a smaller conference room down the hall. "This is going well," he said. "Maybe too well. Take the win, Russell." When we returned, the atmosphere had shifted. Olivia's expression told me everything before she even spoke. "The board has made several decisions," she announced. "First, we're implementing an immediate leadership change. Logan, we appreciate what you built here, but the misrepresentations to investors are unacceptable. We can't continue with leadership we don't trust." Logan's face went white. "You can't be serious. I founded this company. I built it from nothing." "You built it with Russell's technology," Howard Lee said bluntly. "Technology you deliberately misrepresented as your own creation to secure our funding. That's not just poor judgment, it's fraud." "Second," Olivia continued, "we're offering Russell the position of Chief Technology Officer with appropriate equity compensation, 5% fully vested, plus full recognition for his past contributions. Additionally, we're proposing a licensing agreement for the authentication system with ongoing royalties of 2% of gross revenue." I felt Neil's hand on my arm. Steady, cautioning. This was more than we'd expected. Way more. But something felt off about it. "I appreciate the offer," I said carefully, "but I need to propose something different." The board members looked surprised. Logan looked up for the first time, confused. "I'll accept the advisory role and the licensing agreement, but not CTO. I want a part-time Chief Technology Advisor position, 20 hours a week maximum, and I want the equity reduced to 3% with the licensing terms unchanged." Olivia frowned. "You're negotiating down?" "I spent 12 years giving everything to this company," I said. "Missed my kids' high school graduation, wrecked my marriage. I'm not doing that again. I want time for what actually matters. 20 hours a week. That's my offer." Howard Lee smiled slightly. "That's acceptable to me." "One more thing," I said. "Public correction about who built what. My name on the technology architecture credits. Press release acknowledging my role as principal architect. Non-negotiable." "Done," Olivia said immediately. Logan stood up abruptly. "This is a mistake. You're letting him hold the company hostage. After everything I've done—" "Logan, stop!" Howard Lee cut him off. "You did this to yourself. You lied to us. You stole credit for someone else's work. You built a company on deception. That's on you." "Mr. Merritt," Olivia said, her voice formal now, "the board is offering you a choice. You can accept a reduced role as a strategic advisor with no operational authority, or you can leave the company entirely with a severance package. But your time as CEO is over." Logan looked around the table, searching for allies, finding none. His face went through several emotions: anger, disbelief, something that might have been fear. "I'll leave," he said finally. "I won't stay here and watch this." He walked out. The door slammed behind him hard enough that the windows rattled. Silence in the room after that. "Well," Joseph said quietly, "guess that's that." I looked at him. "You could have told them the truth earlier, before it got this bad." "I know." Joseph's voice was barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. I should have." "Yeah, me too." 3 months later, things looked different. I was working from home in my garage office, 20 hours a week like I'd said. The team had learned to read my documentation. We'd hired 2 solid engineers to help maintain the authentication system. Quantum Shift was stable, stock price recovering slowly, clients coming back. I'd restructured the documentation entirely, made it accessible, no more shorthand that only I could read. The company would never be dependent on one person's knowledge again. Logan tried launching another startup that summer, called it Nexus Dynamics or something, couldn't get funding. Word travels fast in the San Diego tech scene. Investors talk to each other. Nobody wanted to back someone with a reputation for taking credit for other people's work. He sent me an email one Tuesday morning in late August, short and awkward. "Russell, I owe you an apology. I should have valued what you built instead of taking credit for it. The company's better off in your hands. I hope you can understand I was just trying to make the company successful. Logan." I stared at it for a while. Read it 3 times. It felt hollow, like he was apologizing because he had to, not because he meant it. Finally, I typed back, "Thanks for saying that. Good luck with whatever's next." Russell. That was it. Not forgiveness exactly, just done. Finished. The better moment came that Thursday evening. I drove up to Berkeley, had dinner with Andrew at this Italian place near campus. Small place, good pasta, not too expensive. "So you actually pulled it off," Andrew said, twirling spaghetti on his fork. "Just made sure people knew the truth." "No, Dad. You stood up for yourself. You proved you built something that mattered." He paused, looked at me directly. "I'm proud of you. Not just because you won, because you did it the right way. You didn't try to destroy them. You just asked for what was fair." Those words meant more than the advisory position or the licensing deal or any of it. "Your grandfather used to tell me to always sign your work twice," I said. "Once in the code, once in writing. He only did one. They erased him from his own invention. And you did both." "Yeah. Took me a while to really get it, though." Andrew smiled. "Think you could teach me that?" "The documentation part, I mean. Proper version control, keeping records. Might need it someday." "I'd like that," I said. "I'd really like that." We finished dinner, talked about normal stuff, his classes, his girlfriend Sarah, the Warriors' chances next season, whether In-N-Out or Shake Shack was better. Normal father-son conversation, the kind I'd missed for years. Driving home that night, windows down, coast highway empty, I realized something. For the first time in 12 years, I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes. Wasn't thinking about deadlines or product launches or investor presentations or Logan's latest demand. The company had been my work, important work, work I was proud of. But it wasn't my life. Took me 12 years and getting fired to finally understand the difference. My phone buzzed. Text from Andrew. "Thanks for dinner, Dad. Let's do it again next week." I smiled and typed back. "Absolutely. Your pick on the restaurant?" "Yeah, I could do that. I had time now."